Have you ever respected someone's wishes so deeply, only to discover they were laughing behind your back? That's exactly what happened to me. My girlfriend said she needed space, begged me not to contact her, and promised she just needed time to clear her head. But while I was sitting at home, worrying about her and questioning myself, she was living it up on a beach vacation with her ex. When she came back, she realized everything had changed, and not in her favor. If you've ever dreamed of giving someone the kind of justice they never saw coming, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready for one of the most satisfying revenge stories you'll ever hear. I'll be honest, I thought she was the one. We had been together for 2 years, and like every couple, we had our ups and downs. She could be distant at times, and I noticed she was glued to her phone more than usual. But I ignored the red flags because I believed in us. Until one evening, she sat me down and said the words that still ring in my ears. "I need space. Please don't contact me for a while. I just need time to figure things out." I was confused. My stomach twisted as she spoke, and my chest tightened. What did she mean she needed space? Did she want to break up? Was there someone else? I asked gently, but she insisted it wasn't about another person. "I just need to clear my mind," she said, looking me dead in the eye. I remember nodding, trying to be supportive, even though my insides were screaming. I wanted to beg her to stay, to talk it out, but I didn't. I respected her request. I thought that was what a loving boyfriend should do. So, I gave her space. I didn't call. I didn't text. I didn't show up at her apartment. Every day was torture, though. I'd stare at my phone, waiting for her name to pop up, waiting for some kind of sign that she still cared. Nights were worse. I'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling, my thoughts running wild. Was I too clingy? Did I mess something up? Was I not enough? Then, one morning, I woke up and did what I had been resisting for days. I checked her social media. And that's when my heart shattered. There she was, smiling on a beach, drink in hand, sunglasses on, looking carefree and happy. And she wasn't alone. Right next to her was her ex-boyfriend, his arm casually draped over her shoulder. Picture after picture, the same story. Sunsets, dinners, cocktails, and them together, like I didn't even exist. I remember my hands shaking as I scrolled. My mouth went dry, and I felt this burning heat rush through me. It was like my chest was on fire. She wasn't clearing her head. She was out rekindling an old flame while I sat at home like a fool, respecting her so-called space. In that moment, something inside me snapped. I had always been the quiet, respectful, don't rock the boat kind of guy. But seeing those photos, the lies she fed me, the way she played me, I realized I was done being the nice guy. The rage was there, sure, but beneath it was a cold, calculated clarity. She thought she was smart, using me as a backup while she enjoyed her little fling. But she underestimated me. She forgot one important detail. Her car, the shiny little convertible she loved showing off, wasn't in her name. It was in mine. I had co-signed when she couldn't get approved. Technically, it was legally my car. And if she wanted space, well, she was about to get more space than she ever bargained for. I didn't react right away. Instead, I closed my laptop and just sat there in silence, my fists clenched so tight my knuckles turned white. The apartment felt too small, too suffocating, like the walls were pressing in on me. She had lied straight to my face, and I had swallowed it, because I trusted her. I replayed our last conversation in my head. Her eyes, her tone, the fake sincerity. My stomach twisted with disgust. I thought about sending her a text. Something brutal. Something that would cut as deep as her betrayal cut me. But no, that would be too easy for her. She would just brush it off, maybe even laugh about it while sipping her fancy drinks with him. I wanted her to feel what I felt. I wanted her to come back thinking her little vacation fling was consequence-free, only to find her world turned upside down. The first step was the locks. She still had a key to my place, and the thought of her walking in, acting like nothing had happened, made my blood boil. So, I called a locksmith. By the end of that same day, the locks were changed. I stood there, holding her old key in my hand, and smiled for the first time in days. It was small, but it felt like the beginning of taking my power back. Then came the car. That car wasn't just transportation to her. It was her pride, her toy, her way of showing off to friends. She used to brag about it, post pictures leaning against it, call it her baby. But here's the thing. I made the down payment, and the title was in my name. She never would have gotten approved without me. I had been stupid, thinking that's what love meant, sacrificing for each other. She took advantage of that, just like she took advantage of me. So I made a few calls, put up an ad. Within a couple of days, the car was gone. Just like that. I signed the papers, took the money, and when I looked at the empty space in the parking lot, I felt lighter. She had no idea yet, but her precious baby was never really hers. And as I sat there, staring at that empty parking spot, I started to imagine her face, her smug little smile fading, her voice cracking as she realized she wasn't in control anymore. That picture gave me strength. It gave me patience. In the meantime, I went on with my life. I went to work, hung out with friends, even hit the gym more often. Each day that passed, I grew calmer, more collected. By the time she came back, I knew I'd be ready. Her return wasn't quiet. I heard the sound of her suitcase wheels on the pavement, the click of her heels as she walked up to the door like she still owned the place. I stood in the kitchen, hidden from view, listening as she slid her key into the lock. Click, click. She tried again. A pause, then again. Louder this time, frustrated. She even knocked, calling my name. I didn't answer. I just stood there, heart pounding, savoring the moment. Then, silence. The silence that only comes when confusion starts to morph into panic. She called my phone. I let it ring. And as it buzzed in my pocket, I walked to the window and peeked out. That's when it happened. She turned her head, scanning the parking lot, and her eyes landed on the empty space where her beloved convertible used to sit. I saw her mouth drop open. Her hand flew to her head as she spun in circles, like maybe she just missed it. Like maybe it was parked somewhere else. But no, it was gone. She looked like the ground had been ripped out from under her. She pulled out her phone, started calling someone frantically, pacing back and forth. I watched, hidden behind the curtain, and for the first time since this whole nightmare began, I felt free. She thought she could leave me on pause, go play house with her ex, and then waltz back like nothing happened. But she was about to learn a hard lesson. Actions have consequences. I didn't open the door right away. I let her stew in her own confusion for a while. My phone buzzed again. Another call from her, then a string of messages. Hey, something's wrong with the lock. Why isn't my car here? Answer me. This isn't funny. I read them all, every single desperate word, and for the first time in weeks, I didn't feel small. I didn't feel weak. I felt in control. Finally, after watching her panic outside for nearly 20 minutes, I opened the door. She spun around instantly, her face a mix of relief and anger. Why won't my key work? And where the hell is my car? Her voice was sharp, demanding, like she still had the right to bark orders at me. I leaned casually against the doorway, arms crossed. Oh, that? Yeah. I changed the locks. And the car? I sold it. My name. My decision. Her face twisted, like she couldn't process the words. For a second, she just stood there, eyes wide, mouth half open. Then came the explosion. "You what?" she shrieked, stepping closer like she was about to push past me. I didn't move. "You heard me," I said evenly, my voice calm, controlled. "You told me you needed space. You asked me not to contact you. So, I gave you exactly what you wanted. Space. Lots of it." She froze, blinking, her anger starting to crack into disbelief. "You can't just sell my car. That's mine." I almost laughed. "Yours? That's funny. Remind me again whose name is on the title? Who made the down payment? Because last I checked, you were just borrowing it." She stuttered, searching for words, but nothing came out. Her hands shook, and for once, it wasn't me trembling. It was her. "And the locks?" she said finally, her voice breaking. "Why would you do that? This is my home too." I tilted my head. This is my home. You had your chance to be part of it, but you chose to go on a little getaway instead. With him." Her eyes widened even more, and that was it. The look of guilt, of realization that I knew everything. She opened her mouth, closed it, then tried again. "It's not what you think." "Really?" I cut her off. "Because what I think is that while I sat here respecting you, worrying about you, you were posting beach selfies with your ex. You wanted space, remember? Well, congratulations. You got more than you bargained for." She started crying then, tears streaking her perfectly made-up face. "It was a mistake. I didn't know what I wanted, okay? I thought I needed time, and he reached out and—" "Stop," I said firmly, holding up a hand. "Don't insult me by pretending it was just confusion. You knew exactly what you were doing. You lied. You played me. And you thought I'd just sit here waiting like some fool." Her tears turned to anger again, sharp and ugly. "You're going to regret this. You had no right to sell my car. You had no right to lock me out." I smiled, calm, steady, almost amused. "Actually, I had every right. That's the thing you never understood. You thought I was weak. You thought I'd always be the guy who forgave, who bent over backwards for you. But not anymore. This time, you get to live with the consequences of your choices." She stood there, breathing hard, her chest heaving, like she wanted to scream but couldn't find the words. And for a moment, I almost pitied her. Almost. But then I remembered those photos, her laughing in the sun while I lay awake at night, broken. The pity evaporated. "You should go now," I said softly, almost kindly. "You don't live here anymore. Don't contact me again." Her mouth opened like she wanted to fight, to argue, to claw back control. But she didn't. She just stood there, shaking, tears in her eyes, before finally turning and walking away. Each step she took down the hall was heavy, her heels clicking against the floor like the sound of a door closing forever. I closed the door behind her, locked it, and leaned against it. For the first time in weeks, maybe months, I felt peace. The silence after she left was almost eerie. I sat on the couch, staring at my phone as the notifications poured in. First, it was text after text from her. "Please just talk to me. We can work this out." I made a mistake. Then came the calls. Dozens of them, one after another, until my voicemail was full. I didn't answer a single one. For the first time in our relationship, I wasn't the one begging. I wasn't the one waiting for scraps of her attention. She was the one chasing, and I could feel the power shift in every unanswered ring. But she didn't stop there. When I ignored her, she tried a different angle. Her best friend texted me, "Hey, she's really upset. She didn't mean to hurt you. Can you just talk to her?" I didn't respond. Her brother even called me, saying she was crying nonstop and felt like her life was falling apart. I let him talk, said nothing, and hung up. The old me would have caved. The old me would have felt guilty, like I owed her a second chance. But every time that thought crept in, I pictured her on that beach, smiling in someone else's arms while I lay awake at night, wondering if I was the problem. That image hardened me all over again. The next day, she showed up at my work. I was walking out during lunch when I saw her waiting near my car, sunglasses on, arms crossed. My chest tightened, but not from nerves, from annoyance. She rushed up to me, grabbing my arm. "Please, can we just talk? I messed up, okay? I know I messed up, but selling my car, locking me out, don't you think that was a little extreme?" I looked her dead in the eye. "Extreme? You want to talk about extreme? How about telling your boyfriend you need space, begging him not to contact you, and then running off with your ex for a beach vacation? That's not just extreme. That's betrayal." Her face reddened. She tried to keep her cool, but her voice cracked. "It didn't mean anything. It was stupid, I know that now. I didn't realize what I had until I lost it." I pulled my arm free. "That's the thing. You didn't lose me. You threw me away. Big difference." She opened her mouth, searching for something to say, but nothing came. I turned and walked back to my office, leaving her standing there in the parking lot like a stranger. That night, she tried again. She showed up at my apartment, pounding on the door, yelling through the walls. My neighbors peeked out, whispering, and I almost felt embarrassed. Almost. But then I thought, let her scream. Let her show everyone exactly who she really was. Finally, after nearly an hour, she left. The texts didn't stop, though. For weeks, she kept reaching out. Some were angry. "You'll regret this." "You think you're better than me?" Others were desperate. "Please, just one more chance." I can change, but I never replied, not once. And with every ignored message, every blocked call, I felt lighter, stronger. Then, one day, the final straw came. She tried to threaten me. A message popped up from an unknown number. "I'll take you to court for selling my car. You'll pay for this." I laughed out loud when I read it. Because the truth was, legally, she didn't have a leg to stand on. The car had been mine from the start. If she wanted to fight, she'd lose. And deep down, she knew it. After that, the storm started to die. The calls slowed. The messages trickled down to nothing. And eventually, there was silence. A silence that finally, felt like peace. Weeks passed. The silence stretched on, and with each day, I felt more like myself again. No late-night arguments, no walking on eggshells, no checking my phone every 5 minutes wondering why she hadn't replied. Just peace. I started sleeping better. I started eating better. Even my friends noticed the change. "Man, you look happier," one of them said. And they were right. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't trapped in the endless cycle of trying to please someone who never appreciated me. One afternoon, while I was cleaning out my closet, I found one of her old sweaters tucked away in the corner. I picked it up, turned it over in my hands, and instead of pain, all I felt was relief. Relief that it was over. Relief that I had finally stood up for myself. I tossed it in a bag with the rest of her leftover things and dropped it at a donation bin without a second thought. And the car? The money from that sale went into my savings account. A reminder that sometimes walking away doesn't just give you peace, it can set you up for something better. Every now and then, I'd hear through mutual acquaintances that she was struggling, that things with her ex had already fizzled out, that she was couch-hopping, trying to piece her life back together. Maybe the old me would have felt sorry for her, but not anymore. She made her choices, and I made mine. The truth is, revenge doesn't always have to be loud. It doesn't always have to be dramatic or explosive. Sometimes the sweetest revenge is quiet. The kind where you take back control, protect your dignity, and leave someone to face the mess they created without you there to clean it up. And that's exactly what I did. So if you've ever been lied to, disrespected, or treated like an option, remember this: you don't need to scream, you don't need to beg, and you don't need to break yourself to prove your worth. Sometimes, the best revenge is simply moving on and letting them realize what they lost. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed? And of course, subscribe for more stories like this, because trust me, you don't want to miss the next one.